What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Eve fit video, I guess, or just kind of like a showcase for the most part. This is what I use for level 4 security missions in high sec, just for like grinding LP and just, I don't know, doing general PvE that's not necessarily inside of Null or whatever. The Leshak is a really good ship. I mean, whenever it comes down to like battleships or whatever the case may be, it's gonna feel pretty sluggish. Like this situation right here, we're like scouting dead space areas. Probably the biggest, I would say, the biggest downfall of the Leshak in general is just kind of the speed, right? And we're top out at like 400 meters a second on this thing, which usually is not a big problem. There's not a whole lot of missions where you've got to like travel to multiple gates. And then when you do, I mean, you're going to complete all these missions fast enough to get all the bonus time. But you're not really doing these for ISK for the most part. But I guess while we're traveling here, it's going to take a second. We'll kind of go over the fit. As you see, I've got it on screen. And also, I'll put this in the description so you can see it a little bit better and you can import it into game. But using an auto-targeting system, and then you got 3 Salvager IIs, which just helps you kind of get a little bit more ISK when you're running level 4s. And then we got the Disintegrator as well, running a 100 MN Monopropellant and during Afterburner. And then a large cap battery. We've got 3 of those. We want to be cap stable because when we do have newts, we do want kind of that good base. You could swap out one of these cap batteries for like a recharger, Tech 2 recharger, or even a faction recharger to get a little bit more, depending on where your skills are at. I'm at like 1.1%, or maybe it's like 4% now. I'm not sure, you know, it's stable, right? For our low powers, we're using Corpus X large armor repairs, 2 of them. And then we got Imperial Navy Multispectrum Energized membranes, and then Capacitor power relay 2s, and then Entropic radiation sink 2s. For the rig slots, we're using an Ancillary, a Nano pump 2, a current router 1, and then a control circuit 2. We're going to be carrying Occult L's and Mystic L's. Mystic is going to be your long range, and then Occult will be your short range. I get, I think, 53 kilometers with Mystic, and I think it's like 21 kilometers with Occult, which is your higher damage. So usually start with Mystic, and then when everything gets kind of closer in, then we're running Occult usually. And we've got Galante drones popping here because they have a little bit higher damage, so they kind of hit a little bit better. And we're running the full spectrum on that. So we're running lights, mediums, and heavies on that, and that's just gonna be target dependent. So we finally made it to this gate. We're gonna go ahead and jump through. I'm just gonna do for this video, just kind of give you an idea of how this looks and how this feels and the performance. We're just gonna run this one level 4 mission because I usually run these Caldari Steel level 4 security missions just to kind of help with LP, and you're going to want to do it for like standings and things like that. So here we've got a target, and our mission here is basically we have to destroy all the pirates while also investigating stuff. We've got this acceleration gate. We're going to approach. I've also, if you're doing any sort of like armor ship, I go in here and go to configure ship health. I turn the shield alert off, or else it's just going to get super annoying. So we're going to go ahead and target this first one. We're just going to get this first laser going. And if you've never used these ships before, the more it cycles on a single target, then the damage will increase every cycle. Which is what also makes Leshak really nice for structure bashes. They'll almost always be at the top of the kill mail on structures because they will just keep that laser on for a long time and max out those ticks, those damage ticks really well. I usually don't turn on these armor repairs until I'm into armor, just so I can just save on cap. I'm not even throwing out drones right now because we legit just have 3 targets here. By the time we get these down anyway, they'll be actually I might go and work on this battleship, and I favorite the lights, the hobgoblins. because usually that's what I'm using them for is, you know, frigates and stuff like that. The Leshak has a little bit of problems with frigates, but when you do get a good hit on a frigate, then it usually takes it down pretty quick. Another thing to remember too is like for shield repairs, for shield boosters, you always get the shield boost at the beginning of the cycle. For armor repairs, you get them at the end, so you always want to keep that in mind. I usually offset these, but for the case of what we're doing right here, I'm just going to let them kind of run at the same time. I'm actually going to kill this prop mod because we're just going to hang out down here. You can sig tank if you want, but we don't have a whole lot going on here. I'm going to switch these drones over to this frigate here. But I'm going to close this just so my window is a little bit more cleared up. He's a little bit further out than we want him to be, or else we go to Occult, and we're going to just let our drones kind of take care of everything over here. I normally don't salvage when I'm doing these on the grind. It really kind of depends on what I mean, you have to fill something in the high slots. I've seen and I've done smart bombs in the past, or you can do, you know, a mix between salvagers and tractor beams if you really want to kind of, you know, loot as you go and salvage as you go. But unless I'm like manufacturing rigs and I'm actually really after the salvage, then I usually just kind of ignore it. So I have them all off to the side here. For this mission in particular, we're going to be basically just hanging out at this acceleration gate. And as you can see, we're just getting more and more waves of stuff going on. And we can hold up to 10 targets, kind of like with the Marauder, which is really nice. So, you know, most of the time, we're able to just have everything targeted up, which allows us to kind of like manage targets a little bit, you know, in case you want to like bring like cruisers down here, frigates down here. Where are these guys at? 30. Another thing you could do here is if you didn't really worry about, I'm just going to hang out the acceleration gates when all the targets are down. I can go through it, but you can also just kind of close these battleships and throw Occult on. But these battleships are going to actively kind of like move against you. And as you can see, we've got plenty of targets going on here. So this will actually end up being a pretty good tick with all these battleships that are in play. If you're used to running like any projectile weapons or missiles, then yeah, it's going to be a little different to get used to, because with the Disintegrator, you're essentially going to get one target that you can focus down on. But that's also why we have drones to help us out, and we'll probably have to pull the heavies out. Actually, that I'm gonna pull mediums out, since we're not getting that many frigates. We're just going to keep working on the battleships with the Disintegrator. We're going to throw out a fleet of Hammerheads. Go and get them on this cruiser here. And then the Hammerheads will actually be good enough to help us with the Disintegrator on the battleships. Or we can actually, I can probably pull out the heavies too, just to kind of show you what their damage application's like as well. And you don't have to run Galante with this fit either if you're used to running Caldari drones. It would work if you're doing this type of, if you're in this kind of area. I think I am going to actually approach these guys. Mainly because I'm just bored. That's what a lot of these level 4 missions are. They get a little boring at times. So since I'm approaching him, I'm actually going to move him to the end. So we're sig tanking a little bit. We got one more tick for that guy. We're actually going to help these drones out here. I'm probably just going to pull these guys in, since most of these guys are pretty stout. Give the heavies a little bit of a go. Get those drones in. Get the ogres out. And what I'll do is I'll start working on these battleships that are a little bit further away. You only get access to 4 heavies, but they'll do pretty good damage. Start approaching this guy. We're just gonna start doubling up. We're probably not gonna catch these guys, so I'm probably just gonna go start back at the acceleration gate. So what a lot of it is just kind of moving around. And you'll kind of get in the groove and everything. These heavies are also a lot slower too, as you can see, but once they get on target, and we have the laser on target as well, the battleships will go down pretty quick. This guy is at almost max range, but he is kind of in the direction of the acceleration gate as well, so we're probably going to try to hit him next. We'll get this guy back here, because I don't think he's going to move too fast. Get these heavies over. This is like my 5th L4 mission to do today on this little, like, you know, I guess mini grind. All of them have been super straightforward, with the exception of like this one. The one video, or the one mission I decided to do on video, ends up being one of the better ones. Actually, I like these that have a lot of targets because it just makes the ticks a lot better. We're gonna try to get this guy down before we get too far out. Yeah, he's down. And that's why we like having all 3 different classes of drones, because we can kind of configure and kind of adjust to whatever we're dealing with. We could go into occult range, but by the time we get into occult range, he'd be dead, and we have to just turn around to the acceleration gate. So we're just gonna go ahead and punch it down. We'll turn off the auto targeter because we just don't need it right now. Also, I kind of play with target back, so this is just kind of an option that I leave on. Because there are some situations that makes it easier when I turn target back off when I'm doing certain things, like in nullsec where I'm ratting, where I'm just trying to like kill all the battleships and the trigger rats, and I'm just going, you know, basically battleship hunting. It helps to not have target back on, because it keeps me from having to just detarget things. Okay, we're gonna go bring that guy back in. And what's nice about, if you've never used these ships before too, switching between Occult and Mystic is instant. So there's no real, and the reload time is actually really quick too. And the cycle times can all be brought down. I'm not running any specific clone with this for L4s. If I use a Leshak for anything else in nullsec for like higher cosmic signatures, then I will run a clone, which is usually just like an armor clone with all of the hard skilled implants for the disintegrators and things like that. But that clone can cost quite a bit. This fit itself is like $2 bill. But as far as PvE and like security missions, it's going to do really, really well. Especially if you plan on grinding out to like, you know, 6 or 7 for any corporation. It's going to end up paying itself off really, really well. Read these details. And what I'm going to do is, we can go ahead and dock on this, but just because I like the bounty ticks, I'm going to go ahead and take these guys down. We've got 2 destroyers, so I'm going to bring out lights for the destroyers, and we're just going to start putting the disintegrator on the battleships. Gotta get those drones on target. The destroyers should go down pretty quick. You just gotta be careful, because destroyers will do quite a bit of damage to the lights. Once we get this other destroyer down, I'm just gonna bring them in, probably. Try on this prop mod. We're probably gonna get stuck in here, so I'm gonna do a thing. We'll go up and just come out from above these rocks. That way when they're dead, I can just warp off without any sort of obstacle in my way. Oh that. I guess my drones are staying out. Now that we're above this, I'm going to go ahead and approach the one that we're not messing with right now. Waiting for all these frigates to get targeted up, and then we'll put these drones on them. I think normally if you're running this with like any other like not blinged out max skilled battleship, they'd probably want you to just warp off. But I'm just going to go and kill everything. They're going to be on the other side too. So they're already out of range. We're going to start turning around now. I'm going to go straight across to their little pips here, because that's going to bring me within range of them. By the time I turn this boat around, we'll have this battleship taken care of. Need about 1K. I'm not even going to try to put the disintegrators on these frigates, because it's not going to end very well anyway. We're going to lose Hobgoblins left and right here, so. But they're cheap. Or, yeah, Hobgoblins. Now we're just going to keep moving forward. Ooh, the guy's got 3% structure. Can he be saved? I think we saved him, actually. Oh, yeah. He almost died. Which we're not 100% worried about. I'm going to bring out Hammerheads, actually. See how they do on these frigates. Just to get them down. We got everything targeted up right now. Adjust our heading a little bit, since they're all kind of spreading out. These cruisers are repping like crazy. That's why we're gonna have to like increment quite a bit on them. That's why it's, because you gotta realize these are dire piss, so these are essentially like, you know, a grade higher than normal rats. We might not even be able to get them. Jesus. Look at that! Look at that reps. Of course, they're not doing anything to us. Actually, we're going to switch over. I'm going to just take everything else down. I just want to see if I can do it, because I think you're actually supposed to like warp off for this wave. But it can be kind of interesting if I can just kill them all. We'll get this other frigate next. And what we'll do is we'll just approach them and then use Occult, and hopefully that's enough to out-rep them. So I'm going to go ahead and approach this first cruiser. So when the frigate goes down, we'll be good to go. We gotta be like within 21, I believe. We're just gonna stay on top of him, because they're gonna try to keep at range me. We can also, I'm not sure, we could probably bring the heavies out to help as well on top of Occult, but I want to see how these mediums do with Occult. So we're going to switch Occult, go and get on target, because you saw before they're repping pretty hard. See that? They're repping like every 3 seconds or so. I think Occult will be enough to kill them. Look at that. Oh yeah. They're not worth a whole lot on bounty, but really it's just about wanting to just clear the field. This guy is within 21, so we're going to try to get at least a couple of reps on him. He's moving up pretty fast. We're going to have to close in on the other guy. And the laser kind of bugs out sometimes too. I mean, that one went off, but sometimes when the target dies, it'll still graphically show shooting off into space, or if you switch targets, sometimes it'll visually not kind of update, which has been a problem for a while. Right. That's what I like about the versatility, right? Between Occult and Mystic and like the different types of drones. Got 45 drone control range too, so they're gonna just come back to me. And we've just got to close a little bit. But what we can do is we can start working on him. We'll switch back to Mystic, which gives us 53. And now we can throw drones at him. I think it was just that one cruiser in particular that was repping pretty hard, because even this guy is not really doing it. But hopefully this this kind of like showcase of Leshak, you know. I don't know if you never actually used a trig ship and you're kind of interested, and yeah, it's definitely a different type of playstyle. But I do highly recommend it. Go and reload. Now the one thing I will say, like with the skill books for trig ships, you have to buy them off the market. So you can't just inject them like you normally would on skills. You can't just like inject a skill book from the skill window, and they are expensive, relatively expensive, I guess. But yeah, it's one of those things that you have to actually, you know, kind of purchase those as an investment. And then this skin I'm using actually is called the Meat Grinder. It's probably one of, in my opinion, it's one of the better looking skins that I enjoy. Turn all this stuff off. But that's where I'm going to end it off here. I think, you know, I've showcased it enough. You can see kind of how it operates and how it kind of works. It's been a while since I've actually, you know, grinded with the Leshak. So obviously, like, I got to bust the rust off of my routine to kind of really make it efficient and everything. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.